Okay, perfect.
So I'll just start with the Parmenter Foundation. So my name is Angela Crocker. As you know, I am the executive director of the Parmenter Foundation. And in 2020, we really worked hard to realign what the work that we were doing. And we found a real need in the area of end of life and grief support. And we felt that that was an under supported area in our Metro West community, and we really wanted to kind of focus there. We had previously been a visiting nurse association and owned a hospice residence and children's bereavement programs and some other programs in those areas. And so we had some experience in that space, and we really wanted to help out more, to dig much deeper there. And so we've done that over the last 5 years. Um, we help our community in four different ways. We, as you mentioned, Jeff's Place, we provide grants for nonprofit organizations doing work. And you can see all of this information on our website. Each of our current grantees, we have 18 organizations that we support doing work on the ground level in our mission area for Metro West community, which includes Hopkinton and others. Um, we also we have programs. So I know Jen's talked to you about the You Grieve college program that we hope to be able to modify and utilize in high school communities as well, but we're launching it as the college program. We have a one-on-one social worker program. So if you're kind of stuck and you're not sure where to go, either in your grief or you're doing some end of life planning, or you have a loved one who is struggling, you can call and speak to our one-on-one social worker. So we have programs that we assist people through which we assist people. We also have a resource hub, and our resource hub contains education that we develop as well. So one of the big videos that is being shared quite a bit right now. There's been a few, as there always is, tragedies of and the deaths of high school students in our communities. And we have a video series that we collaborated with the Children's Room to create videos for parents to support their high school students who have lost a peer or whose friend has had a loss, so the peer has had a loss, and helping them to navigate that, knowing what to say, not to say. We also have general videos of education, including the What to Say, What Not to Say series in general, which is a very popular education video. We also have an entire pet loss video series. And so we really tried to create resources that weren't available. And so to have them all in one place. And then it's also a very traditional resource guide as well. So you can go on and find an assisted care space in your town or in your area or within 10 miles and that kind of thing. So it does the granular searching work for you as well. So um, and then we do educational events. So we just had Will Reeves here talk about you may not know Christopher Reeve, but he was Superman in a series of the Superman movies back in the 80s and 90s, and his son and he was paralyzed and then he passed away, and his son was 12 years old at the time. And then his mother passed away the year later. So he was 13 years old and he had lost both of his parents. And he now is a contributor on the Good Morning America show. And he's had shows on ESPN. And he's a journalist and he's been successful and talked. It was really inspiring in talking to our community about kind of growing with grief,
Mhm.
succeed beyond the hand that he was dealt. And so those are kind of the ways that we help our community. Um, do you have any questions about that?
Yes, I actually had one question. Are there like any like specific areas within grief support, like especially for like children or families, that the Parmenter Foundations find like particularly compelling to work on?
That we are compelled to work on?
Yeah, yeah, work, yeah,
It cut
on
out there.
with,
Can you just
yeah.
pardon me?
Did you want me to repeat the question? Sorry.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Okay, okay. So are there any like specific areas within grief support, like especially for like children or families that your foundation finds like particularly compelling?
Thank you. So I think that we find, I think that the sense, the bigger picture of a compassionate culture. I
Hmm.
think that reducing isolation for any age group is really important. Um, so we kind of look at it from the larger kind of picture that if we could reduce the isolation of grief and have a more compassionate community, then we would all feel better and more supported during times of loss. And so that would be more my focus than a certain age.
Hmm.
Um, of course, I find all of loss compelling, and I do think that we're incredibly fortunate to have the number of enriching children's bereavement programs that we do in our community. So,
Hmm.
but there are other areas where we kind of lack. So, um, such as young widow support,
Hmm.
younger women with children who lose their that may have been your situation. Your mom may have been young when she lost her husband.
Yes.
Um, and that's a really underserved population that I would be interested in doing more for.
Hmm. So, what do you think are like some of the challenges that you run into when trying to create a program that addresses grief in certain areas?
It's always participation. The people that you are trying to help are the busiest, most burdened people and,
Hmm.
and have very limited bandwidth to add something else, even if it's good for them. And so reaching those to try to help them and to even to find out what would be helpful is oftentimes overwhelming for the population that we'd like to serve.
Hmm. Hmm. And then like where do you see like the awareness and the different grief support initiatives going towards in the future?
Where do I see them going to work?
Going towards like how do you see
Oh,
how do you see different grief organizations like Parmenter expanding in the future to address grief in different areas?
yeah, that's a great question. I think that in the last 5 years, quite honestly, I've seen a distinct expansion of both awareness and services
Hmm.
in our community. And on the broader subject, there's been so much more conversation and normalization of grief. And I think that that's where we're continuing to head. I think that normalizing grief, being able to support one another in grief, being able to have conversations about our grief, I think that those are all going to continue and hopefully be fostered.
Okay, I think you kind of answered all of my questions. I think one last question I would have is like, do you have any organizations or companies underneath Parmenter that you would like to like shout out that you think are really great within the community that would be great resources for anyone to access?
Well, I would say if you go to our grantee website, all of those organizations are doing incredible work, and they are not duplicating efforts. We really do a lot of work to vet the organizations that are doing this work in our grant making, and so and I would also say that Hopkinton has a lot of um, interest and programming going on there. There have been a number of people with loss in Hopkinton who have reached out to say that they're trying to start programs or have programs that they're doing. And so I feel like Hopkinton is a rich area for this kind of work.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Angela, for your time.
You're so welcome. If you have any other follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. It was such a nice opportunity to speak with you.
Yep, thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
You too.